Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking student credit cards. So these kinds of credit cards are builder credit cards that you would use to increase your credit score before you can get a real credit card. So credit cards build your credit score, and this is something that's vitally important, especially when you're a young person. If you can build your credit score as early as possible, then you can get better mortgage deals than most of your peers by the time you're looking to buy a property around 23 to 28. On top of this, credit cards offer you rewards significantly better than your usual debit card. So you can get cash back, you can get points to put towards flights or discounts at your most commonly used shops. And all in all, credit cards are just a really useful tool to leverage your buying power. Now when you're a student, you likely don't have the credit score in order to apply for one of the better credit cards that offer you better rewards. So this is where using a student builder credit card really comes into play. It allows you to increase your credit score without having to worry about meeting the requirements to get the credit card. And so this is your first step on the ladder to being able to get a proper credit card and also to increase your credit score. However, you should always be wary that credit cards can very quickly become a money sink. If you're buying things you can't afford and just putting all the costs on your credit card, the interest rates will quickly catch up to you. So no matter which of the following credit cards you pick, just remember you should only ever spend around 20% of your credit limit and pay it off in full every month in order to maximise your credit score and to ensure you don't go into debt. So with that said, let's get into the list of the best credit cards that you can use as builder credit cards. Actually first, you can do one thing to increase your credit score right now. If you just go down and hit the like button and subscribe and share this video to all of your friends, you'll see your credit score will will go up. I promise.
Terms and conditions apply. Please note that subscribing may not increase your credit score, but it will increase your street cred. Side effects of subscribing include increased energy, improved motivation, nausea, more consistent uploads, and a feeling of self-worth.
So onto the list of credit cards. Now these are in no particular order. I haven't put them in preference order or which one's best. And of course, if you are going to go with one of these, you should also do your own research into the full terms and conditions. But here we go. So first, we have the Barclaycard Forward credit card. So this is a great starter credit card with the lowest minimum credit limit. So this has a £50 minimum credit limit and a £1,200 maximum credit limit. So that means that you can put through purchases for anything in the value of £50 to £1,200. This card also has some beneficial sign-up offers. So for example, you get 0% interest on any purchases on the card within the first 3 months. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do this. You can use it if you really need to make an expensive purchase in the short term, but know you can pay it off. But realistically, the only thing that's going to do is trick you into using your credit card more than you should, especially when the 33.9% APR kicks in and suddenly you're paying a lot of interest on any of the outstanding payment. This card is also great as it has a 0% account setup fee, and it also has a really simple function which allows you to just set up a direct debit to pay off your debts every month. So if you rack up £200 on this card every single month, then what you can just do, really simply, is set up a direct debit for £200 a month at the end of the month. And this will just be paid off. That'll be it. Your debt will be cleared and you'll be building your credit score in no time. Now, as I said with most builder credit cards, you don't really get too many rewards or benefits, and this is the same with this credit card. You don't really get too much in terms of sign up, except for the 3 months of 0% interest. But what you do get, which is quite useful, is you do get access to Barclaycard Entertainment, and that gets you discounts on over 3,000 different gigs, comedy nights and family nights. Once coronavirus is over and we can actually do those things. So that's quite a useful perk, and it's something that you won't get with any of the other cards because it is specific to Barclays. So next we have yet another great starter card. This is the Tesco Foundation credit card. Now this one comes with a slightly more restricted band in terms of your minimum and maximum limits. It's £250 minimum and £1,200 maximum. But that's not the end of the world. If you're only using 20% of your credit limit, then you know that the range doesn't really matter too much, so long as you are using and are able to use 20% of whatever you set it as. So one significant benefit of this card is the low APR. This card only has a 27.5% APR, so that's the interest on every single outstanding debt you have after the month that you have to pay it off. Now this is really good because this is lower than you'll get with pretty much any other starter credit card. This one also has £0 in accounts fees, so it's the same as the Barclaycard. One major advantage of the Tesco Foundation credit card is kind of a sign-up benefit, but it's really useful for when you're young, is that you get 3 years subscription to Noddle Premium for free. Now, this is excellent because Noddle is a service that allows you to track your credit score, see where your credit score is actually coming from, what numbers feed into it, and it also gives you suggestions on how to improve your credit score. This is vitally important when you're young because otherwise you just have to pay for this service. So this is a great way to boost your credit score and understand how to boost your credit score, not just in the 3 years that you have the subscription, but also longer term, because you can just reapply the same type of recommendation that they give you again and again. And of course, because it's Tesco, you get Tesco Clubcard points. So for every £4 that you spend in Tesco on your credit card, you'll get 1 Tesco Clubcard point. And then you'll get 1 point for every £8 you spend in every shop outside of Tesco. So you can use your Clubcard points in Tesco and a bunch of different things you can find online. But that's a really good benefit, especially if you're a student going to university and doing all of your weekly shops at Tesco, then you can really start to rack up points whilst also building your credit score. However, there is one caveat to this card that makes it slightly less favourable, which is that you have to be earning £5,000 annually. Now that's not too difficult, that's basically just a part-time job while you're at uni, which lots of students have anyway. But you also can't have a regular bank account with Tesco. So those are the 2 limitations of this card. But still, it's a really great card and it offers a lot of benefits. And finally, I've lumped together these last 2 cards because they're slightly lesser well known, but this is the Marbles Bad Credit Card and the Aqua Classic Credit Card. So both of these are slightly less well known than Tesco and Barclays, pretty common names and they're also quite known in the banking industry. But these offer some quite good advantages for people who have really bad credit score or no credit score whatsoever. So both of these cards were designed for people who have poor credit score, which means that as a student, you're more than likely going to be accepted for one of these 2 credit cards, which means they're an easy way in to start building your credit score to get some of the credit cards that offer you better advantages and perks. However, they both have their drawbacks because of the low barriers to entry. So they both charge 34.9% APR interest on any outstanding debt. This is the highest you'll find with pretty much any starter credit card. So with these, more than any of the other cards, you need to be wary of if you have any outstanding debt and you need to make sure you're paying it off in time. But one advantage that these companies have put in is that they send text reminders of any debt you have outstanding and when you need to pay it off by. So at least they're kind of prodding you and saying, look, you have this debt, you should pay it off, here's a text to remind you. So that's one advantage, is that you probably won't miss any debt payments, so long as you make sure that as soon as you get those texts, you pay off any outstanding debt that you have. Both of these cards, like with the other 2 cards that I've discussed before, also have 0 arrangement fees, 0 late repayment fees, and 0 early repayment fees, which is great because it reduces the amount that you have to pay and puts more money back in your pocket at the end of the day. Now, before you go away and look at different credit cards, one thing you can also do is just use a general eligibility checker. So I'll put the Money Supermarket eligibility checker down in the description, but this is a really good tool that allows you to find out what cards you're likely to be accepted for. So then you can use that as a shortlist and start looking into the details of those, because there might be some cards I haven't mentioned that offer better perks or better rewards for you. And the advantage of the Money Supermarket eligibility checker is that it doesn't affect your credit score like some other different eligibility checkers do. So that's my review of some of the best credit cards that you can get as a student. Now remember, if you are going to go for any of those, do your own research and make sure you are familiar with the exact terms and conditions and make sure you're happy with what you're getting. At the end of the day, this isn't advice, this is just my own experience and your own choices are your own. But with that said, go out there, get yourself a starter credit card, build your credit score, smash the like button and subscribe if you are new around here. Let me know in the comment section down below if you did get one of the credit cards that I recommended or if there are any credit cards that you would recommend. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.